during the pre-budget discussions for formulation of taxation policy to make Indian industry globally competitive. Their role in stimulating, shaping, and scaling up Indian economy is undisputable. As you all aware, the Directorate General of Taxpayer Services has been set up with a mandate to reach out the taxpayers to create awareness about the changing procedure and clarify the doubts arise in following the new procedures. DGTS has headquarters in Delhi with 6 zonal units. The Chennai zonal unit caters to the need of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Andhra and Telangana. The Bangalore zonal unit caters to the need of Karnataka and Kerala. DGTS pioneers, and it's a constant endeavor of DGTS to bring in current and relevant topics to the doorstep of the trade, thereby facilitates trade in enriching the knowledge of the changed provisions and the procedures, and in turn enhances their tax compliance level. Several need-based webinars have been conducted in the past after taking the inputs from the trade bodies. Today's webinar is also one such. The session will delve on a very important and a relevant topic, amnesty scheme under new foreign trade policy 2023. The Government of India announced a new foreign trade policy on March 31st, 2023. It included an amnesty scheme for the exporters for one-time settlement of default in export obligation by the holders of advance and the EPCG authorizations. In a short while, a detailed presentation will be made by none other than Shri Animesh Garg, Deputy Commissioner of Customs, Agog Complex, Bangalore. He is a fabulous trainer, has got rich and wide knowledge in the topic. He will delineate the nuances of the amnesty scheme. This session certainly will be fruitful. I request all the participants to make best use of this session. With these words, I once again welcome you all to this webinar. Thank you. Over to you, Vinny.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome speech, sir. Thank you so much, sir. The respected Chief Commissioner of Customs, Bangalore Zone, Srimati V. Usham IRS ma'am was supposed to have joined us, but unfortunately for us, ma'am had some urgent unscheduled meeting and is not able to join us. But madam has conveyed our best wishes for the conduct of this webinar. May I now call upon the respected Principal Chief Commissioner of Customs, Chennai Zone, Dr. Ram Nivas, IRS, to deliver the inaugural address, please. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Viniji.
Thank you, sir.
I am so happy to join this webinar. And it's so nice that it has been organized by the government department with the private partnership, and the DG Taxpayer Services in association with Export Promotion Council for EOU and SEZ Southern Zone, Confederation of Indian Industries Southern Zone, then Chennai Customs Brokers Association, Chennai, Bangalore Custom House Agents Association, Bangalore, Cochin Customs Brokers Association, Mangalore Customs House Agent Association. So this is such a good to just the optics are so good in the beginning itself that this has been organized for the benefit of trade, in partnership with trade, and with active lead by the government department under CBIC, our Director General of Taxpayer Services. So first, I congratulate all the organizing associations and DGTS for this. Shri R. Manohar, ADG DGTS. Madam Usha, my batchmate, is not here. So then Anandji, Chairman Export Promotion Council for EOU and SEZ. Sumit Kedia ji, Member Economic Affairs and Advisory Panel, CII. Shri R.N. Shekhar, President Customs Brokers Association here at Chennai. Suraj Muralidharan ji, President Cochin Customs Brokers Association. Shri Philip CC, President Mangalore Custom House Agent Association. Mangalore has also come. It's nice to see. And Shri Girish Narayan ji from Bangalore Customs House Agents Association. and all the distinguished panel of faculty who will be participating in this webinar, and all the officers of DGTS who have been instrumental in organizing. I can only express my thanks to you for inviting me for this. And as I said in the beginning, this is such a nice setting that the government department, our DG Taxpayer Services under CBIC, is actively participating in such programs which are necessary for spreading awareness. Because if any new scheme comes, for example, this is on amnesty scheme under new foreign trade policy 2023, the latest one. And in the beginning, at the initial stage itself, before the scheme becomes, before it becomes late, it has been organized at time. And whenever such a new scheme comes, we have always seen that there will always be doubts in the minds of persons who are affected by the scheme. And so it is such a nice initiative that the participants will be able to clear their doubts. Now, this scheme, as we broadly know, is that Government of India announced the scheme. This Government of India announced new foreign trade policy in March, that is last day of March 31st, 23. And this foreign trade policy 23 included an amnesty scheme for exporters for one-time settlement of default in export obligation by holders of advanced license, advanced authorization, and EPCG authorizations. So the thing is that it is one-time settlement, and the scheme is, as we know, all such schemes in the past also, and this follows that same pattern, is for the honest defaulters, means those who are not involved in any fraud or things like that. It is for, because sometimes mistakes happen. We know that in genuine business, the planning sometimes goes haywire, and it is beyond the control of the business to set the things right. So to cover such situations, this one-time amnesty scheme has been brought in. Broadly, if we see that the scheme covers these two schemes, advanced authorization and EPCG authorizations granted under foreign trade policy from 2009 to 2014, valid up to 31st March 2015. The scheme also includes advanced authorization and EPCG authorizations issued under foreign trade policy on or before 2009, also with export obligation periods valid beyond 12th August 2013. And it also allows regularization of cases that have already been adjudicated. That's a fantastic feature, that case which has already been adjudicated or is currently undergoing adjudication, whether it is in original adjudication stage or whether it is in appellate stage, that part is also covered by this thing. So this is a good incentive for the holders of these authorizations who somehow missed the deadline and could not complete the export obligations. Of course, the system is that applications for this should be filed in DGFT website prior to December 31st, 23. And the important part is that government revenue is also taken care that this has to be settlement of waiver, etc. For this waiver, this thing settlement should be completed by 31st March 24. So this is not an ongoing scheme. It has definite time limit. And of course, the proof of payment of customs duties and interest, etc., is to be made available. Then the relevant authority can grant EODC. So, of course, inward credit and refund of duties, interest paid will not available. Details will come to know during the course of this webinar. That's the idea. My idea is only that this scheme is quite interesting in the sense that it provides for settlement or regularization of export obligation defaults, provided all customs duties and interest in proportion to the default in export obligation are paid. And interesting thing is the interest obligation is capped at maximum of 100% of the duties exempted. So this cap is also important. Otherwise, sometimes we've seen that if there is a long default, then interest liability itself exceeds the original duty payments. So this is a very good feature, and which will be very useful to to the persons who want to avail of this scheme. And if we see that it is, as I said in the beginning, this is a very good scheme with, and for, of course, the honest taxpayers. It is not available to the people who are involved in any fraud or misdeclaration or wrongful, unauthorized diversion of materials imported duty-free or capital goods imported duty-free. And of course, not to reopen the old cases, it also not it's not applicable to those cases also where a duty had been paid along with applicable interest already. So I hope that the above amnesty scheme is made use of by maximum number of participants, and this webinar will definitely help in enlightening the main features, the procedures, how to avail, any doubts in the minds of business, and this will be a great step in that direction. Direction of moving forward with ease of doing business, that ease of doing business in general and gym trade in particular. This will go a long way in helping them. With that, I thank everyone here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful address. Thank you so much, sir. May now call upon the respected Regional Chairman, EPCES Southern Zone, Shri S. Anand, to deliver the address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay. Respected Dr. Ram Nivas ji, Shri R. Manogar ji, guest speakers from Export Promotion Councils, CII, and other associations, officials from DGTS, participants, welcome to all of them. Yeah, I represent, my name is Anand Sethuprakasan, Regional Chairman of EPCS, Export Promotion Council for EOUs and SEZ. We cater to the export promotion needs of 100% EOUs, export-oriented units, special economic zones, and SEZ developers in the country. Our members, the EPCS members, cover major industrial sectors like the textiles, the garment, gems and jewelry, leather goods, food and agro products, electronic, pharmaceuticals, engineering, and varied other industries. We have about 6,070 operational EOUs, SEZ, and SEZ developers across India. We are happy to be associated and thank for giving us this opportunity to be part of this good, wonderful initiative to educate the various the members of the EXIM community about this amnesty scheme. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of members solve the long pending issues related to advance authorizations and the EPCG. Thank you, Mr. Vinay. I look forward for this very informative webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that good address and the words of appreciation. Thank you so much, sir. We now call upon the respected member, Economic Affairs and Advisory Panel, CII, Shri Sumit Kedia, to deliver the address, please.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to all the members. Respected Chief Commissioner of Customs, Shri Ram Nivas ji, Additional Director General of Taxpayer Services, Shri Manohar ji, guest speakers from other chambers, the speakers and other participants. I am Sumit Kedia, representing CII, Confederation of Indian Industry. We have many members from the manufacturing sector, and majority of them are engaged in exports. So first of all, I would like to congratulate DGTS to organize this awareness session on amnesty scheme for holders of advance authorization and export promotion capital goods scheme as a one-time settlement for default in export obligations by the holders of AA and EPCG scheme. I think the best part of this scheme is this is applicable even for the cases which are already adjudicated and are also under adjudication. because earlier we have had amnesty schemes where the eligibility was not given to those where the adjudication has already been done or are under appeal. So I think the best part here is the scheme has been made applicable to all, whether your case is adjudicated or already under adjudication. So that's the best part of this scheme. And there are a lot of nitty-gritties in this scheme, which I think this session today's session will definitely help create awareness among the members at large. There are nitty-gritties like the scheme is applicable for AA granted between 2009 to 14. The person has to register in DGFT prior to 31st December 2023. So these nitty-gritties should be known by all the members. So I thank DGTS again to organize this session to help our members to gauge with this amnesty scheme in detail. Thank you, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words of appreciation, sir. Thank you so much. The respected president of CCBA, Shri R.M. Shekhar, informs us that he is unfortunately not able to join us. But the vice president of CCBA, Mr. Divakaran Nair, joins us. So may I call upon Mr. Divakaran Nair, vice president CCBA, to address, please. So, Mr. Divakaran, if you are there, you can go ahead and speak, sir. Sir Divakar, sir. Mr. Divakaran, Vice President, CCBA. Mr. Divakar, sir. It appears that Divakar, sir, has some issues, technical issues to join us. Let us try to connect with him. If he joins, we'll ask him to speak again. May I now call upon the respected President CCBA, Cochin. Again, we understand that the CCBA Cochin President Sri Shurat Muralidharan is medically has some medical emergencies, unable to join us, unfortunately. Very unfortunate of that. Mr. Divakaran Nair, if you're there, you can join us, please. Mr. Divakar, CCBA Chennai. I'm afraid Divakaran sir is still not able to join us. I may now call upon the respected President MCHAA, Sri Philip CC, to address us, please. So, Mr. Philip. Again, Mr. Phillips, CC from President.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Respected distinguished speakers and our guest speakers, my colleagues, and the organization DGTS. We are very much happy and proud to be part of this program. It's organized by DGTS, and this is a second program we are associated with, and we congratulate them for timely organizing the programs which is need of the hour as far as custom broker or import export trade is concerned. And this is also a wonderful program which people should understand what is happening in the schemes which are provided by the government, and this will give some inputs, I hope. And we all are eagerly waiting for the topic presentation and expert panelists. So I will not take more time, and I congratulate once again who all are involved in this program. Thank you very much for making us also a part of this program. Thank you very much to all. Thank you. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your words of appreciation, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Divakaran Nair, Vice President CCBA, if you are there, you can right now speak, sir. Mr. Divakar. I'm afraid we are not able to connect with Mr. Divakaran Nair. We are now come to the main part of our program today. To make the topic presentation, we have with us a person who has a very rich and in-depth knowledge on the subject, Sri Animesh Garg, IRS Deputy Commissioner of Customs, Air Cargo Complex, Bengaluru. May I now call upon Shri Animesh Garg to make the presentation, please. Sir, over to you, sir.
A very good afternoon to all present. Respected Chief Commissioner, Chennai Customs Zone, Shri Dr. Ramnivas sir. Respected Additional Director General, Directorate General of Taxpayer Services, Shri R. Manohar sir. Representatives from trade and industry associations, all seniors, colleagues, and other attendees present. The topic for today's presentation allotted to me is amnesty scheme under the new Foreign Trade Policy 2023. The task cut out for me has been made slightly easier with the inaugural remarks and the broad outline given by Dr. Ramnivas sir and the representatives from the trade. I'll try to cover up as many points as I can regarding the finer prints of the amnesty scheme. So before I delve into the individual points under the scheme, I would like to say that in the new foreign trade policy, numerous measures have been enlisted to promote manufacturing, production, cross-border trade, and to basically improve overall ease of doing business. On the ease of doing business front, some of the measures that have been listed in the new foreign trade policies are the paperless filing, e-certificate of origin. It has also been listed that a consultative mechanism will be introduced to resolve trade and industry grievances and concerns. On boosting the manufacturing and production front, it has been listed that PM Mitra, the mega integrated textile region and apparel park scheme, will be added as an additional scheme eligible to claim benefits under the Common Service Provider Scheme of EPCG. Further, Special Advance Authorization Scheme has been extended to export of apparels and clothing sectors under Para 4.07 of Handbook of Procedures. There are some other measures also listed in the foreign trade policy as such, faster online processing of authorizations under FTP and all. But coming to one of the most important points, which I think under the FTP for trade and industry is the amnesty scheme for advance and EPCG authorization holders. Just a second, I believe there's some technical issue with the presentation. Yeah, I hope the presentation is in view for all. So the government of India announced the new foreign trade policy on 31st March 2023. It included an amnesty scheme for exporters for one-time settlement of default in export obligation by the holders of advance authorization license and EPCG authorizations. It was notified with a public notice number 2 of 23 dated 1st April 23. So what this scheme, amnesty scheme basically covers is it encompasses all the variants of advance authorization license and EPCG authorizations granted under foreign trade policy from 2009 to 2014, which were valid till 31st March 2015. These all such authorizations were included. Further, the authorizations included under the amnesty scheme are the authorizations issued under the foreign trade policy on or before 2009, which have the export obligation period, whether original or extended, valid beyond 12th August 2013. So these are the main two coverage areas of the amnesty scheme. So I'll repeat again that all advance authorization holders and EPCG authorization holders, which were granted such authorizations first under the foreign trade policy from 2009 to 2014, and which were valid till 31st March 2015, they are covered. The second category that is covered is all advance authorizations and EPCG authorizations issued under foreign trade policy on or before 2009, and the coverage is extended to those authorizations wherein the export obligation period were valid beyond 12th August 2013. So these are the two basic categories of authorization under AA and EPCG, which are covered under the amnesty scheme. Now, this amnesty scheme is called as amnesty scheme for one-time settlement of default in export obligation by advance and EPCG authorization holders. As the name suggests, it is a one-time settlement scheme for default against export obligations. And this scheme accordingly allows for regularization of cases that have already been adjudicated or are currently undergoing adjudication, whether in original form or under appeal. So, as it has been already said by one of the trade representatives, that one of the most beautiful points about the scheme is that it allows for regularization of cases which are already under adjudication, which was not available in previous amnesty schemes. So, accordingly, the scheme is quite beneficial for all such authorization holders, which for whom the cases are under adjudication or which have already been adjudicated. So, I'll come to the procedure for regularization. So the first case is where the cases have already been adjudicated or are under adjudication. In such cases, the amnesty scheme proposes that the advance authorization or the EPCG authorization holders are supposed to register on DGFT website. They are supposed to submit all the documents, the relevant documents there, and on the basis of that, go to the customs formation, submit the duty calculation sheet, make the payments in the customs respective jurisdictional customs offices, and get a duty payment certificate certified by the jurisdictional office. And the same is to be submitted to the regional authorities of DGFT. Regional authorities of DGFT, upon verification of the same, will accordingly grant export obligation discharge certificate. And submission of such closure letter to the adjudicating authority will accordingly regularize the case. The second scenario is wherein the cases are have been adjudicated and wherein an appeal has been filed. So in such cases, again, the process will be similar. The advance authorization or the EPCG authorization holders are supposed to submit such a closure letter that entire duties have been paid, and the same is certified by the customs jurisdictional authorities. The same closure letter is along with the EODC certificate is supposed to be submitted to the appellate authority. And accordingly, on the basis of submission of these documents, the appellate authority will decide on the closure of the case against which the appeal has been filed. And the same is supposed to be intimated to the appellant and the concerned regional authority of DGFT. So we initially covered what are the cases eligible under the amnesty scheme. At the same time, I'd like to mention what are the ineligible cases under the scheme. So the intention of the scheme, as has been mentioned by the respected Chief Commissioner Customs Chennai Zone, is to basically provide a mechanism to the genuine trade bodies to get the cases of export obligation default regularized. So accordingly, in line of that thought only, the cases which involve fraud, misdeclaration, unauthorized diversion of material, capital goods, whether currently under investigation or which have already been adjudicated, they will not be eligible for participation under the amnesty scheme. So the intention is to provide a mechanism to the genuine authorization holders. Accordingly, cases involving fraud, misdeclarations, and similar things will not be eligible to file under regularization under the amnesty scheme. Similarly, another case which is ineligible is authorization holders who have already paid the duty along with the applicable interest in full, they will not be eligible to be covered under this amnesty scheme. We'll come to the procedure to avail the benefits under the amnesty scheme, which I believe is the most important part. So to begin with, to participate in the amnesty scheme, individuals who have defaulted against export obligation, they should register on the DGFT website. I mentioned the link in the presentation, and they are supposed to submit an application. Now the date for submission, the last date for submission of application to DGFT is 31st December 2023. I would like to mention that in the original public notice issued by DGFT, the last date to file such an application was 30th June 2023, and accordingly, the last date to get the payment certificate duly certified from customs was 30th September 2023. But now the date to file such an application with the concerned DGFT has been extended till 31st December 2023. Now, in order to take advantage of this scheme, the settlement of the entire waived customs duty and interest as per the conditions mentioned in the amnesty scheme must be completed maximum by 31st March 2024. And upon presenting proof of the payment, the concerned regional authorities will examine the request and accordingly issue a letter granting the export obligation discharge certificate. There are certain conditions that are mentioned in the amnesty scheme public notice issued by DGFT that I would like to mention here. The first thing is that SENVET credit or refund, any refund against whatever duties have been paid under this scheme will not be allowed. It will entirely defeat the purpose wherein the duties that you are paying, the individual will file for a refund of the same or may want to claim credit. So accordingly, no SENVET credit or refund of duties paid under this scheme will be eligible to anyone. And accordingly, the applicant under this amnesty scheme has to submit an undertaking to the extent that they are not going to claim any SENVET credit or file for refund of such duties paid before any authority or before any court of law as well. Now, coming to the type of defaults by applicants in this case. So basically under advance authorization and EPCG authorization, there are two kind of defaults that may have happened by the applicants. The first is the case of complete default. By complete default, what we mean to say is that 100% export obligation has been defaulted upon by the applicant. So in this case, the applicants are supposed to pay the entire exempted customs duties along with the applicable interest with the jurisdictional customs authorities concerned, and take that duty payment certificate and submit the proof of payment along with the duty payment certificate to the regional authorities of the DGFT concerned. So to simplify the process, I am undertaking an example over here. So let's say the total CIF value of the unutilized exempted materials under the authorization is, let's say, ₹1,000, and the entire customs duty, all the customs duty exempted under the authorization that has been provided to the applicant is, let's say, 500. Now, in this case, I am including the additional customs duty and the special additional customs duty in the scenario. So this entire duty exemption is ₹500, let's say. We have to account for what is the proportion of additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. Let's say that amount of additional customs duty and special additional customs duty is ₹300. So accordingly, as per the amnesty scheme, the maximum interest that is payable is capped at 100% of such duties exempted on which interest is payable. And the amnesty scheme in the initial public notice itself mentions that interest is not payable on the portion of customs, additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. So accordingly, what we calculate is that the maximum interest payable will come to, in this case scenario, ₹300, which is the customs duty exempted other than additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. Accordingly, the total amount that the applicant in this scenario is supposed to pay to get the authorization regularized is rupees 500, which was the total customs duty, including additional customs duty and special additional customs duty, and the interest amount, which is rupees 300. So total rupees 800 in this scenario is to be paid to regularize, which is the case of complete default. We'll go to the second scenario. So the second scenario for default may be wherein the case is of a partial default. So let's say um, the export obligation was fulfilled only to the extent of 40%. So in this case, what will happen is the regional, again, similar procedure will have to be followed, that the applicant will have to register on DGFT website, and the regional authority of DGFT, on the basis of such specific request of the applicant and the documentation provided by the applicant, uh, they will uh, they will consider the application, and they'll intimate to the applicant the details of default on which customs duty and interest is payable. With such intimation, the applicant is supposed to register with the customs, and they are supposed to discharge the duty liability along with applicable interest, get a duty payment certificate duly certified by the jurisdictional custom authorities, and submit this duty payment certificate along with the proof of payment to the regional authorities or regional DGFT authority concerned. And accordingly, the RA-DGFT will examine this. They'll see the duty payment certificate and accordingly grant export obligation discharge certificate. Again, we'll take an example under the partial default scenario. So let's say for any applicant, the default in export obligation is to the extent of 40%. And for simplicity's sake, let's assume that the total authorization value under either AA or EPCG scheme is rupees 1,000. So we'll see that since the default in export obligation is 40%, then accordingly the corresponding total CIF value of duty, which is saved against such shortfall in export obligation by the applicant, is rupees 400. And let's say against this total CIF value of duty saved amount, the entire quantum of customs duty, which is exempted, including the additional customs duty and special additional customs duty, is rupees 200. What we need, the second point that we need to see is what are the customs duties exempted other than additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. Let's say that quantum has been calculated to be rupees 100. In this case, accordingly, as per the amnesty scheme public notice, the maximum interest payable is again capped at maximum of 100% of such duties exempted on which interest is payable, which again becomes only on the component of duties other than additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. So accordingly, we have calculated that the maximum interest payable in this case becomes rupees 100. Then totaling these two components up, the maximum payable duty and interest for regularization of such partial default in export obligation by the applicant comes to a total of rupees 300, which is rupees 200 on the entire quantum of customs duty exempted and the interest component of rupees 100. So this becomes the total amount to be paid. With such a duty calculation sheet, the applicant can approach the customs jurisdiction concerned customs authorities, submit the payment proof, accordingly get the duty payment certificate and the payment proof, submit the same thing to regional authority of DGFT and get the export obligation regularized. Now, this was till this part we covered what are the procedures involved regarding regularization. Now we come to the part on how actually to register on DGFT website under the amnesty scheme. So I have enlisted the steps on how to do a first-hand registration on DGFT website and apply for amnesty scheme. Uh, we'll go regarding the registration process stepwise. So the first process is logging into the DGFT website that I mentioned. And on the DGFT website homepage itself, there's an option of advanced authorization DFIA under the service tab. So I'm basically trying to enumerate the steps for advanced authorization process. Similar steps can be undertaken for regularization of default under EPCG scheme as well. So once any applicant clicks on the services tab, the applicant is supposed to scroll down and then click on the closure of advanced authorization under the service under authorization tab. Once you click on the closure of advanced authorization tab, click on the start fresh application and check the box applying under amnesty scheme for one-time settlement of default in export obligation. See, there other than amnesty scheme also, wherein people have completed the export obligation and just submitting documents for closure of authorizations and requesting for export obligation discharge certificate. Applicants are also supposed to register through the similar modus. So when any applicant is intending to go under amnesty scheme, it is mandatory that the applicant checks the box applying under amnesty scheme for one-time settlement of default in export obligation. Once you click this, then select the concerned advance authorization for closure. The applicant is then supposed to check the box yes for proceed without validation and then click on save and proceed. So against that particular advance authorization, the application for amnesty scheme will be starting to be processed. After this, clicking on save and proceed, the applicant is supposed to enter the export details, as in the export product group, the authorization number, FOB value, and all the other details. Everything, all the details that are supposed to be entered in will come one by one on the screen itself under the export details tab. Once all these details are entered, the applicant can then enter the duty and interest value to be paid under the self-assessment regime. And under the redemption metrics tab, this detail of the self-assessed duty and interest which is payable by the authorization holder can be entered. Once these details are entered, the applicant is supposed to click on save and proceed. After this, the applicant has an option to attach all the documents. The maximum limit to be attached is 5 attachments of 5 megabyte size in PDF format. Accordingly, once the applicant has attached all the relevant documents, click on save and proceed. And then the next step is check the box, tick the box as acceptance of declaration undertaking and fill the details below. There will be a set of details to be filled. The applicant can accordingly fill the details pertaining to the authorization and then click on save and proceed. The next step is once this is done, the regional authority has received the application. Regional authority will then accord it a file number and it will be the file number will be allocated and an online letter either in a form of deficiency letter or acknowledgement letter of receival of all the documents pertaining to filing of export obligation and subsequent issuance of export obligation discharge certificate will be given by the regional authority. And once this is done towards the end of the form, the applicant can click here for payment, wherein they have to pay the requisite fees and then click on submit. The next steps will subsequently follow for the applicant. Once this is done, the applicant, if the regional authority in the case of amnesty scheme will be issuing a deficiency letter that will come in the subsequent slide and we'll discuss what are the constituents of the deficiency letter. We'll go ahead to that. So yeah, this is a specimen of the deficiency letter that is issued by regional authority of DGFT. So as I said, once all the documents have been submitted and a fresh application has been submitted by any applicant, any authorization holder, a file number is accorded by regional authority DGFT. This is the deficiency letter. And they'll accord a file number, they'll mention the authorization number and all. They have enlisted, the regional authority DGFT will enlist what are the deficiencies in the application, if any. So in case of amnesty scheme, there will definitely be deficiency in terms of payment proof challan, the duty payment certificate, and the duty calculation sheet. So these three things, duty payment certificate in original issued from concerned customs authority, the original TR challan giving an evidence of payment of duty, and the duty calculation sheet certified by the concerned customs authorities. These are the three documents for which the deficiency letter has been issued. So accordingly, any authorization holder who has filed an application under the amnesty scheme on DGFT website, having submitted the application, all the documents, and having received this deficiency letter from the DGFT, the applicant is then supposed to submit this deficiency letter to the concerned jurisdictional customs authority. The customs authority will then check all the associated bonds under the authorization, the imports already made, the quantum of default under the scheme, the quantum of customs duties exempted under the scheme, duty that has already been paid, and they'll calculate the amount of interest payable under the amnesty scheme. Once that is done, a duty calculation sheet is prepared. They'll certify, the jurisdictional customs authority will then certify the duty calculation sheet. The same is intimated to the applicant under the amnesty scheme. Accordingly, the applicant is then supposed to discharge this duty liability along with the applicable interest, which is already mentioned in the calculation sheet. Once this duty payment along with the interest is done, the proof of this payment in form of TR6 challan is to be submitted to the concerned authority. Accordingly, on the receipt of such TR6 challan, the customs authorities will verify the duty payment, and if that is discharged in entirety in accordance with the duty calculation sheet, a duty payment certificate will be issued to the applicant. The next step for the applicant under the amnesty scheme then becomes submission of TR6 challan, this duty payment certificate duly certified by customs, and duty calculation sheet again certified by the customs authority to regional authority of DGFT. DGFT then will accordingly examine that duty has been discharged against any such authorization under the amnesty scheme and issue or grant the export obligation discharge certificate. So this is a basic broad overview of the set of the steps and the procedure involved in getting the export obligation defaults under either advance authorization or EPCG scheme for any applicant. And again, I'd like to reiterate that amnesty scheme. This amnesty scheme is available to advance authorization and EPCG scheme holders under all variants. It is not just restricted to the main authorizations. It can be advance authorization of any sort or EPCG scheme under all different variants. So these things are covered. Coming to the timeline, which is mentioned in this public notice. So earlier, as I mentioned, that public notice number 2 of 2023 was issued by DGFT, dated 1st April 23. The timeline mentioned in that public notice was the last day to apply with DGFT is 30th June, and to get the payment regularized and get it certified by Customs Authority was 30th September. With representations from trade and to actually ensure that the benefit under this one-time settlement scheme is duly accorded to all genuine taxpayers. As per the latest notification issued by DGFT, it has been notified that now the last scheme to submit an application with DGFT for amnesty scheme has been extended till 31st December 2023. And accordingly, the last date for payment, getting the same thing paid and getting it certified duly by respective jurisdictional customs authority has been extended till 31st March 2024. So all the applicants, all the authorization holders having defaulted, whether under adjudication, already adjudicated, they have an option to still apply for the scheme. Go and register on the DGFT website, submit all the relevant documents, get the duty exempted part along with the applicable interest paid with the jurisdiction customs authorities, get it certified, and then accordingly submit the same to DGFT to get export obligation discharge certificate. Now, coming to the benefits of the scheme, I believe this may be the easiest slide for me to explain because everyone is already aware of the fact that it's a one-time settlement scheme for anyone who has not been able to fulfill their export obligations. And there is no penalty involved in the scheme, which in itself comes as a big relief to all the genuine taxpayers. The second biggest benefit under the scheme is that the interest rate itself is capped to a limit of 100% of the duties which are exempted, on which interest is actually payable. So such duties will exclude special additional customs duty and special additional customs duty. And so this is actually a one-time scheme for the entire trade to reap the benefits of the amnesty scheme. So with this, I believe I have been able to cover up the finer prints of the amnesty scheme in terms of what are the steps, what are the coverage areas, what are the ineligible areas, the steps to apply on DGFT portal, what are the procedures to apply, and then how to get the same thing regularized. I believe I have been able to cover these areas, and with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that. Sri P.R. Srinivasan, IRS Assistant Commissioner, Directorate of Systems and Data Management, Chennai. Welcome to the program, sir. We will take the questions from the chat box, but before, I am afraid there are only a few questions that have come up. We'll just give a few more minutes for the participants to register the question. In the meantime, we have received a few questions on our email, sir. We'll just try to put those questions on the screen for the benefit of everybody. Just give us a couple of minutes, sir. Just a few seconds. We'll put those questions on the screen, which came to us on the mail. Once it is there, sir, you can go ahead and answer this question. Just give us a couple of seconds, sir. In the meantime, the participants, you may go ahead and register your questions on the chat box, please. We're just trying to put those questions we got on email on the screen. Just give us a second. Yeah, there we go. We get the first question on the screen, please. Which export promotion scheme? I'm sure that you answered all those queries in the presentation itself, but for the benefit of everybody, we can cover those questions once again, sir. Which export promotion schemes are covered under the amnesty scheme? We could go ahead and answer that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vinny. Actually, as in the topic presented by Animesh Garg, Deputy Director, and also clarified by our Chief Commissioner, this scheme is basically open only for the authorizations issued under advance authorization scheme, all variants, and EPC schemes, all variants under the Trade Policy 2009 to 14 till 31/3/2015, and in respect of the license authorizations issued prior to the foreign trade policy, like 2004 to 2009, if they are extended beyond a period of 12/8/2013, they are also eligible for that. So these are basically the authorizations which are eligible for the benefit, apart from the other conditions. This scheme is not eligible for any other kind of like MEIS scheme and other kind of schemes. Only these two are eligible.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir. I think that clarifies the position, sir. Shall we go on to the next question, sir? Yeah. So this is just a corollary of the earlier question, sir.
But I would like to add. See, there is a notification issued by CBIC 32 of 2023 customs dated 26th April 2023, wherein all the notifications which are covered under these two categories have been notified. I mean, and these notifications, there are many notifications under which the exemption has been extended. Like, for example, 44 of 2002, 55 of 2003, 97 of 2004, 64 of 2008. So notifications which have been covered under the notification 32 of 2023 dated 26 April 2023. I mean, whatever authorizations are covered under these schemes provided subject to the conditions as mentioned in the policy circular 2 of 2000. I mean, public notice 2 of 2023. Only they are eligible for the benefit.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for making it so clear, sir. We'll go on to the next question, sir. Next question coming up on screen, please. Do I need to pay back duty saved amount also?
Yeah, this is the basic this thing. I mean, the benefit is only about the interest waiver. That too, it is capped to 100% of the BCD portion of the duty saved amount. Basically the entire duty has to be discharged. The benefit, as already told by Animesh Garg and all, you will get a benefit of the waiver of interest. You need not pay, because this scheme, I mean, licenses would have been issued some 7-8 years back, and the interest would have already gone beyond 100%. So the expenses will benefit from the interest cap on the BCD portion.
Right, sir. Right. Shall we go on to the next question, sir?
Yeah.
Next question coming up, sir. Again, similar questions. I have already paid 100% duty along with interest on CVD and SAD amount last month. Can I opt for this scheme?
If the this scheme is, I mean, if entire duty along with the interest has been discharged, I think they are not eligible for the benefit. Only those who have not discharged the duty and the interest, they are only eligible for this scheme. I would just clarify in a while. This I will take it up at the end. You have given me a question where if the interest is paid on CVD and SAD. So if he has, I don't think they can have a provision to pay.
Okay, we can take the question at the end, sir. We'll take this question at the end. Once we have the other questions, we'll take this question. We'll go on to the next question, sir. Yeah, this question already been answered by sir in the presentation.
No refund or credit can be availed, and they have to give a declaration to the extent to any authority.
Yeah,
so I don't think they can avail of any benefit. The only benefit is the waiver of interest.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll go on to the next question, please. Just give us a second. Sir, are you able to see the screen, sir? The next question?
No, it is in the same question.
Yeah, just give us a second, sir. I think we have some issues with the connectivity. Just give us a second.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, shall I take up the questions which
Yeah, we can take up the questions that have come up in the chat box itself, sir. I will just start questioning. I think the first question was at 15:53 hours from Kantaraju. You need to clarify the cess percentage we need to pay on the in the scheme, sir. That is what he has asked basically. We have talked about the basic customs duty and CVDs and SADs, but not about cess. The question from Kantaraj sir is on the cess amount payable, cess percentage payable.
Yeah. See, this particular amnesty scheme, no, it does not give any waiver of any duty at all. So whatever duty is exempted, and they have to completely discharge the duty. I mean, to the extent of non-fulfillment of the export obligation. Only the interest portion is waived. So I mean, capped. I mean, so this question, I think he has to discharge the entire duty if it is there in the. I mean, as per the authorization.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Animesh, sir, if you have anything to add on that, sir.
I agree with this point that the intention of the amnesty scheme is not to waive off any duties which were exempted or foregone at the time of taking the authorization. So cess will have to be paid to the extent that was exempted.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. That clarifies the issue, sir. I think Mr. Kantaraj, sir, if you have that clarifies the entire issue. Now we'll go on to the. I think the question, that email question, is on the screen now, sir. You can go ahead and take that question, sir. Please clarify that in EPCG license amnesty scheme apply for full duty refund plus 100% interest only on VCD.
Yeah. The interest liability on the BCD portion subject to the limit of 100% of the BCD. If the BCD payable is 100 rupees and the interest liability on calculation is going beyond 100, then he has to discharge a payment of 100 rupees as interest. There is no interest calculation on the CVD and SAD or any other thing. So that is the benefit they get. I mean.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we can go on to the next question, please. This we have already answered, sir. The question that was on chat, we have already taken this question. We'll go on to the next question, sir. Yeah, what are the eligible parties for amnesty scheme? The request is to share a word file. If you can give us the relevant public notices, we can share it to the participants, sir.
So Vinay, I am not able to understand what is the exact query. Is he saying that the eligible parties for the amnesty
who are all
scheme
eligible for the amnesty scheme? Who are all eligible for the amnesty schemes? Probably that is what is meant, sir.
But I think they have to, approach the jurisdictional customs authorities whether they are eligible or not.
Sir, Mishra, if you can add on that, you can also add on that.
So any eligible any party which is wanting to come under the amnesty scheme, I believe it is easier for them to find it out themselves by referring to the DGFT public notice itself. The first point of coverage under the notification clearly mentions that the eligible parties will be ones who have been issued authorization under any variant of advance authorization or EPCG scheme under foreign trade policy. The first category is foreign trade policy 2009 to 14, valid till 31st March 2015. The second category is any authorization under all variants of advanced authorization or EPCG scheme issued under foreign policy 2004 to 2009 or before, but having export obligation period valid beyond 12th August 2013. So if any party is falling under these two categories, they can understand themselves to be eligible for coverage under this amnesty scheme.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll go on to the next question, which we received at 16:0 hours, 02 hours. We have taken EPCG license for local machinery procurement in 2008. How do you avail this scheme for indigenous machinery?
As far as the EPCG scheme is concerned, it is goods which have been imported, capital goods. I'm not able to understand the question. What is the meaning of local machinery procurement? Because it is applicable only on imports, that too done under the EPCG license, which are eligible for the amnesty scheme.
Yeah,
So,
I think it is a question from Mr. Dilip. Mr. Dilip, if you are there and listening, you can just elaborate on that on the chat box. We'll take up that next. Right, sir? We'll wait for Mr. Dilip to expand on that. The next question is again, it's at 16:0 hours from Ramaswamy Ramaya. We'll go to the next question. So that is not there. Yeah. Go to the next question, which is at 16:05 hours.
shall I read out? I mean,
Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead and read, sir.
Yeah. He is asking the authorization holder as a license for a 3% concessional EPCG scheme. Does the authorization holder have to pay, assuming BCD is 7.5%, 7.5% interest on BCD or 4.5% on BCD? See, the interest is 15%. There is no change in the rate of interest, and it is on the duty saved portion of the BCD, subject to a cap of 100% of the BCD, and apart from other fulfilling the other eligibility conditions. Only in the case of defaults. Shall I go ahead with the next question? Am I audible? Yeah.
Sir, you are audible.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and take the question. Next question
is about, there is a confusion whether duty paid 3% or 5% at the time of import earlier should be excluded or included to arrive at differential duty to be paid under the amnesty scheme. But our view is that duty paid at the time of import should be included, and then differential duty should be calculated. There is a divergent view. As per the scheme, once again, I would like to clarify, the entire duty saved amount has to be paid in total. There is no doubt about it. It is only in the case of partial export obligation fulfillment, to that extent, this thing need not be paid. But the interest again is capped at 100% of the amount, the BCD portion. So I don't think there is any doubt for any divergent view. It's a straightforward, simple scheme. So for the benefit of the participants, you can also log into the DGFT website. There is a video available, short video, which is very, very crystal clear. So you can also see how the calculations are made and all.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That will be very nice, sir. Shall we take the next question, sir?
Yeah.
It is from Shivakumar at 1606 hours, sir. I have a question. As per the PN, export obligation needs to be valid beyond 12th August 2013 to avail this scheme. In case of EO validity got expired between 1st August and 12th August 2013, can still same be considered to be eligible for availing the amnesty scheme, please?
No, this first thing is we have to see under which particular policy this authorization has been issued. If the authorization has been issued under the foreign trade policy 2009 to 14, then till 31/3/2015, all the authorizations issued are eligible. Now, if it has been issued in the old FTP like 2004-9, only in those cases where the period of export obligation has been extended beyond 12/8, they are only eligible.
Yeah.
If it has got expired before that, means they are not eligible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That clarifies. Sir, Animesh, sir, if you have anything to add, I see you have anything to say there, sir?
Yeah, I believe Srinivasanji has perfectly clarified that the applicant first needs to see that authorization has been issued, which authorization has been issued and under what foreign trade policy. If issued under FTP 2009 to 14, then any authorization having export obligation period till 31st March is already valid for coverage under the scheme. If it has been issued, the authorization has been issued in the prior FTP, then they need to check what is the final date of the export obligation period. If the original or the extended period is going beyond 12th August, then they are eligible. If it is ending before 12th August, they cannot avail this.
Yeah, I think that makes it amply clear, sir. Mr. Shivkumar, I think your question is clearly answered there. Sir, shall we go on to the next question, sir? Next question at 1607 hours. We have imported shipment in Chennai ports. Can we pay the duty payment in Bangalore?
This question, I think the duty payment has been done at the port of registration, where the license has been registered. So basically, the party would have taken the license from DGFT Chennai. I'm giving an example, and his license would have been registered in the customs Chennai. Then the duty portion has to be discharged at the customs Chennai. Am I right, Animesh?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, Srinivasanji. The amnesty scheme also mentions that the duty payment is to be made at the jurisdictional customs authority. So it means wherein the license has been registered.
Thanks, sir. Thanks. Very clear there, sir. Next question from Mr. Dilip at 1610 hours. How to calculate BCD portion in local machinery in 2008? I'm not sure.
I think Mr. Dilip had earlier asked that question.
Yeah,
I think if he can come online and ask the question clearly, because there is no question of BCD on local machinery. I think there seems to be some confusion.
We'll take that question finally, sir. We'll have to give him credentials, sir. It might take some time. We'll take the next question, sir. Next question at 1613, sir. License is registered. I think this question we have
This is answered.
Yeah, we have already taken that question. Next question from Ramaswamy Ramaya. Whether the difference duty payable under the scheme should be calculated after detailing duty paid at the time of import or without considering the said duty paid? Sir Srinivasan, sir, I am afraid you are not audible.
Sorry. At the time of availing the benefit, they would have been given exemption. Some portion of the duty they would have paid. Only the exempted portion they have to pay the entire duty, and interest has to be calculated on the exempted portion. So I think there is no confusion on that.
Sir, Animesh sir, you have anything to add there?
It is correct. The public notice under the amnesty scheme, it mentions that exempted customs duty are to be paid and interest is to be paid on such duties exempted. So
The scheme is only for the exempted duties, right, sir? So that makes it very clear. Yeah, we'll go on to the next question again from Kantaraju. Sir, some few cases there is advanced license and we have clubbed advanced authorization, but financial year 14, 15, 15, 16, but amnesty scheme cut off March 15. What we do, 15, 16 cases.
They are not eligible for the benefit.
The scheme is only for the period to which it has been mentioned, right, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
The coverage has been clearly mentioned in the public notice 2 of 2023. I once again reiterate, and the notifications under which they have been issued have been notified under the CBIC notification number 32 of 2023. So kindly I request the participants to download that notification 32 of 2023 and refer their authorization. In the authorization itself, it would have been mentioned under which notification the benefit is eligible. So based on that, they'll have to take a call. For any specific query, I think they can approach the jurisdiction. Animes would like to say.
I think it is self-clarificatory in this regard.
I think we are having some interference there, so let us ignore that. We'll go to the next question. Is it audible to you, Sir Srinivasan sir? I think it is some.
Yeah. No. Mr. Philip is trying to tell something. I think he's not clear.
Mr. Philip, if you are there, you can. Sir, you are not audible, Mr. Philip. So you can just try to mute again, mute and then again unmute and try to speak. Sir, probably there is some disturbance there, or we are not able to get what you are speaking. Right. In the meanwhile, we'll go on to the next question. Sir, we'll go on to the next question. I think we took this scheme. Yeah, we'll go on to the question from Ramasamy Ramaya. At $1640, DGFT public notice says duty to be paid with custom authorities. In the case of domestic purchase, how to pay the duty to customs without bill of entry being there?
Hello, yes, sir.
Mr. Philip?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead and ask your question, sir.
Yeah, the sound is very, very low. I'm not hearing that one.
It's probably issues at your end, sir. We are having
only.
Yeah. Now you are clear, sir. You can go ahead and speak. You have any questions? Yeah. Hello, Mr. Philip? I think there are issues at his end, technical issues. Probably that is why he's on and off. We'll go to the next question, sir. Until he gets connected again, we'll go to the next question and take the next question. Sir, shall we go there, sir?
Yeah, next two questions again, people are talking about local purchases.
Yeah.
This amnesty scheme is only for imports made under those two authorizations issued for import. Animesh, if I am right, you may. I don't know, there is some confusion there.
So, see, the amnesty scheme is only covering the default in the authorizations, the duty-free imports which have happened. So, basically, if there was duty which was exempted in the first place, only to the extent that duty is to be paid along with this interest capped at maximum 100% of exempted duties, excluding special additional customs duty and additional customs duty. So if there is any customs duty exempted at the time of under the advance authorization or EPCG authorization, that part of duty exempted will have to be paid to get regularized.
I think the next question sort of adds a new dimension to it, that, sir. It is from Sharat Kumar. He says that I think the question is on deemed import from ACZ to DTS. So I think that might add a new dimension to that question, sir.
So again, in that case also, say there is a deemed import from SEZ to DTSL. What one needs to see is uh, uh, calculate the amount of duty saved. If there is any duty exempted, I should correct my word, not the duty saved portion, whatever was the duty exempted. And if the same thing has been purchased under either advance authorization or EPCG authorization, that duty needs to be paid along with applicable interest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next question. Kindly clarify whether deemed imports are eligible under the MT. It's a sort of addendum to the earlier question, sir. I think you have answered that quite clearly. Interest is payable on cess or not? That is again a question, sir.
Yes,
I think
payable.
you already clarified on that. The question from Mr. J.C. Mongia at 16:30 hours. License dated July 2005. EOP expiry 25/7/2023. Full duty was paid on 18. Is this eligible? That's a question.
Yeah. So I'll take up this question. See, the license, it has been mentioned that license has been given in July 2005, which will be covered under FTP 2004 to 2009. The export obligation period expiry date is mentioned as 25th July 23, which I believe must be the extended export obligation period. So it will come under point 1.2 of the public notice. So it is pretty much under the eligible coverage. They are mentioning that full duty was paid in 2018. However, they are silent on the interest part. So I'm assuming that only duty was paid, interest was not paid. Accordingly, since only duty is paid, they appear to be eligible in this case to be covered under the amnesty scheme.
Right.
However, if they have paid applicable interest also, then accordingly they become ineligible.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thanks, sir. Nice. To get. Again, there is a confusion on this indigenous missionaries. Sir Vikram Singh at 16:31.
This question about this indigenous machinery, we'll have to take it up and we'll answer it. I mean, you may take it up and we'll answer him by email or something by getting the clarity. There are 2-3 people have asked, so let us. But as far as my understanding goes, the notification numbers are already notified by our CBIC. Only those are covered. Beyond that, they are not covered. If the license is not issued under those notifications, not. Am I audible? See that some 2-3 questions have come on the indigenous machinery EPCG. I request Vinny ji, you can kindly take it up with. There is some issue.
Yeah, regarding this indigenous machinery purchase against any invalidation letter, we'll take it up and then we'll clarify regarding this one.
Sorry, there was some technical issue. Am I audible, Manish ji?
Yes, Srinivasan ji, you are audible.
Yeah. So what I was telling was that some few questions have come about the indigenous machinery EPCG that we'll have to take it up with DGFT for answer. Anyhow, as per the CBIC notification number 32, I am of the opinion that only those licenses which have been issued under the, issued under the notification covered by them are eligible. Rest of them are not eligible. Subject to the other mandatory conditions, like there should not be any fraud, gate, any investigation, or the duty should not have been paid with full interest and all. JSC Mongia had mentioned that interest has not been paid. I think Animesh Garg has already clarified this is eligible for the scheme. I mean, subject to the condition.
Srinivasanji, I think they have corrected their question. They have mentioned that export obligation period expired on
Okay. Sorry.
July 2013. So once it has been mentioned that export obligation period has expired before the date of 12th August 2013 mentioned as per amnesty scheme, the case becomes ineligible, even if interest has not been paid. But since the export obligation period is has been over before the date mentioned in the public notice, the case is ineligible for coverage under the amnesty scheme.
Yeah, sorry, I missed out that point. Sorry.
Sorry, am I audible now, sir? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, there was some issues with my system, sir. So you can go ahead and answer the next question, sir, please.
Question from Bharat Yadav is, as per para 5.21C of the Handbook of Procedure, in case of domestic sourcing of capital goods through invalidation letter ARO, the duties are payable shall be with reference to the notional customs duty. That is, duty should be calculated as in case of normal import. This we'll have to answer it. I'll take up this question. We'll have to, if Animesh, if you can clarify, or we'll have to take this question and answer him subsequently.
I'll also do a check on this and then we'll clarify.
Yeah, we can see Mr. Bharat Yadav, if you are there, you can just send it this question to our email ID. I also have a small announcement to make at this point of time. Anybody, any participant for any technical reason or from any other reason was not able to register their question here in the chat box, they may please send in their questions to our email ID. I can just give you our email ID now. DGTPS. I am also typing that on the chat box. The email ID is DGTPS dot Chennai, CHENNAI at gov.in. I just repeat, DGTPS dot CHENNAI at gov.in. You can send in this. Send in your queries to this email ID. We will be forwarding these questions to our expert panelist and the topic presenter. And from once we get the answer from them, we will be sending those sending the replies to you. So all the participants and Mr. Bharat Yadav, you can send in your questions to dgtps.chennai at gov.in. I'm afraid we have taken all the questions, sir. We have exhausted all the questions. We are also, I think, believe slightly beyond our schedule. I think we'll stop here, sir. If any questions, participants, you may please send in once again. I repeat, to dgtps.chennai at gov.in. Right, sir. We'll finish the question and answer session here. Right. May now call upon the Honorary Secretary BCHAL, Shri Girish Narayan, to propose the vote of thanks, please. So Girish. Girish Narayan sir, you can unmute yourself and go ahead, sir. Mr. Girish, you are there. And again, Mr. Girish sir is not able to join us. Mr. Girish sir, Girish Narayan from hello, Mr. Girish from Bangalore Custom House Agents Association Limited. I'm afraid.
I think you'll have to unmute him.
No, we have made him the presenter, sir. He can unmute himself and do it. In any case, I'll try to do that. We have made him the presenter, so he will be in a position to unmute himself and speak. Mr. Girish, if you are facing any difficulty, you can just give us an indication in the chat box. I believe there is truly some technical issues there. I think we can end the program here with the permission of the chair. Let me just try to connect to Sri Girish sir. If I'm able to do that, just give me a couple of seconds, participants. Just give me. I'll try to connect with Girish and then get back here. I think Girish sir has indicated that he's unable to unmute himself. We'll again try to do that, sir. Just give me a second, sir. Just give me a second. We'll try to do that. Mr. Girish, we have now made you the panelist. I think you are coming two things. Now we have made you the presenter, sir. You can go ahead and speak. Mr. Girish? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Are you able to hear me, sir, now?
Yeah, audible, sir.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So as we draw towards the closure of an enriching webinar, I am bestowed with the responsibility of rendering the vote of thanks. Firstly, hearty congratulations to our Director General of Taxpayer Services, Bengaluru and Chennai Zone for the wonderful initiative in imparting such an exhaustive and informative webinar. I thank our Additional Director General, DGTS, Sri Manohar Sarji, IRS, Sri Vini Somapan Sarji, Sir Ebenezer Sarji, Sri Shastri Ji, and the entire officials of DGTS Bangalore and Chennai Zone for the successfully organization of this webinar. I take this opportunity to thank our distinguished speakers, Sri Dr. Ram Nivas, IRS, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Chennai Zone, Srimati V. Usha, IRS, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Bangalore Zone, for gracing the webinar and providing valuable insights on the webinar topic, Amnesty Scheme under New Foreign Trade Policy. Thank you, sir, for the inputs. I thank our guest speaker, Sri Anand, Sri Sumit Kedia, Sri Divakaran, Vice President, Chennai Custom Brokers Association, Sri Suraj Muralidharan, Philip CC, President, Mangalore Custom House Agents Association, for participating in this webinar. I thank our topic presenter and expert panelist, Sri Animesh Garg sir, Deputy Commissioner, Air Cargo Complex, Customs Bangalore, and Sri R.R. Srinivasan, Assistant Commissioner, Directorate of Systems and Data Management, Chennai, for the detailed, exhaustive explanations and valuable information on the amnesty scheme for advance and EPCG authorization holders. I hope everybody would have utilized this, will be in full utility of this webinar. The presentation has provided the right directions to all of the exempt trade, and I hope that everybody will make maximum utilization of the same. Thank you, sirs, for the great presentation. I take this opportunity to thank all our members of Custom Brokers Fraternity from Chennai, Cochin, Mangalore, and Bangalore, and also FIO and its members, and officials of our Chennai Custom Zone and Bangalore Custom Zone, Cochin Custom Zone, and Mangalore Custom Zone also. our various importers, exporters, and all our members of the exim trade. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for providing us an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those kind words and the vote of thanks, sir. With that, I'm afraid we have come to the end of the session. Thank you all for joining us.